Hello everyone and welcome to the very first podcast. We are super excited to be here. It's been a long time coming. If you are watching, you can see kind of our little setup, I guess. We do have some special guests today, so those are going to be the noises that you will hear. Hopefully they will exit seamless pretty soon, but if not, then they're just going to be here. So my name is Kayla. I'm one of the hosts for this podcast.
And I'm Terrence. I'm the co-host for this podcast. Also, the creator of the podcast. Also, the executive producer and director for the podcast. So when y'all see all the exciting things going on, know it came from your boy.
Anywho, even she laughing because she knows.
You know it's true.
She knows the truth.
And this is Victoria.
Gonna say hey. Wave at him. Say hey. And this is Jackson. I would turn him around, but I think he's trying to go to sleep, and I'm just scared to move at this point. So, like I said, this is our first podcast, and I'm gonna just let you go to your spit because I know he about to be extra. So I'm gonna let him have it. Go ahead and tell him what we named the podcast and why.
So we was thinking for a long time what name would best fit this podcast. Something that stands around business, around purpose, around passion, around the arts. And we put a lot of names into the box and ended up coming up with Three Strands podcast. So Three Strands. So it stems from the Bible verse of three strands are not easily broken. And I have a saying in business that is the 3 P's: profit, passion, and purpose. We have 3 signs in our dining room area that reads love always, eat well, laugh often. And of course we got the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And several more things. I can go on and on, but Three Strands gives us a open doorway to just discuss society, discuss culture, discuss business, entrepreneurship, mental health, a lot of things. So that's what I thought of it.
Why are you so loud?
So, this plan, we came up with it together.
No, he can have that one little piece. That's all he did. So anywho,
really?
so okay, let's see what else. I was gonna say something, but I think I'm gonna hang on to that until later. So the goal of this podcast, we want to do this weekly. One of the 3 things that he missed out is we have 3 kids, so we shall see how that goes. But we do want to talk about like a wide variety of different topics. So our first topic, we figured, well, he don't even know what we about to talk about, so I'm about to surprise him too. But first, I figured we should tell our story. So I know he doesn't get this, but I often get that I look too young to have 3 kids and to be married. And I probably am, but he doesn't get that too often. Anyway, so I figured we would start today just by kind of telling our story, and then letting the people get to know us a little bit. So I want to start, really, son? Jesus, he's his daddy's child. So I want to start, I guess like before we met. So I'll let you start. Tell them kind of who you were. Oh Lord, he about to be so extra. Tell them a little bit, okay? Because one thing he didn't say, he's a minister and can go real long-winded, okay? Don't ask him to pray over your food because he'll take you there.
Don't do that.
Anywho, do not be long-winded, but tell them who you were a little bit before we got married and age range, all of that.
See, first of all, do I look like I'm the type to hold up a meal? Y'all see all of this?
But he will. He will. Our friends can
Y'all see all of this skin.
He will, trust me.
But what's the question again?
Oh, Father. Tell them a little bit about yourself, like before we met.
Before we met.
And how old were you, like in the time frame that you gave them? Because I already know what he about to say, and you have to put it in context, because they're gonna be like, "You was what?"
I was when we met for the first time.
No, before then. I'll start.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
no, because he's looking like, what in the world? Okay, so I met him, I think, officially met him for the first time when I was 16. 16. So I was finishing my 10th grade year of high school. What is it, 16? Yeah, that's it. If you watch any of our previous vlogs, my daughter is fascinated with her nose. She's a toddler. Ignore it. It's okay. This is real life. So, yeah, we met at 16. So who was I beforehand? So, I mean, I guess I was your average teenage child. I grew up in church, so that was like a big part of what I did. My mother was very strict, but at that time, no, I was still staying with my mom. So at that time, it was church. I mean, like that was what we did. By the way, if we keep looking that way, we got a business and people got a call. So anyway, yeah, so church was a big part of what we did. I was on a bunch of different ministries at church. I was on the dance team. I sung for a little while. I was in a youth ministry, so I did a bunch of different stuff. And then at school, I didn't really do too much, but just go to school and come home. I had a few good friends that my mama would kind of let me, you know, go over their house and spend the night. But like I said, mama didn't play them games. Even though, you know, I did my little dirt when I did it. But yeah, so I was just like your average, you know, teenage child. That was around the time I just started dating. You know, in the black culture, your mama calls your boyfriends your little friends. So according to her, my little friends. But I didn't even, like, my mama has probably met 3 guys my entire life, and it ended with him. So, and like I said, we met at 16, so it wasn't like a long time before that. You know, she had time to meet anybody anyway. But yeah, I was just kind of your average. I was very quiet, very quiet. But yeah, that was pretty much it.
So before we met,
he was total opposite.
Before we met, I was a rapper. I did music, did shows, performed. I think I was 18, 19 when I met you, and it's a long backstory.
You're gonna tell what type of music? We're gonna get to that though.
I was doing gospel rap, hat bars, you know. I was long dreads, 1977 Money Color with them dubs on it. Y'all seen that? If you from Spartanburg, you know you seen that Money Color with them 20-inch rims on it. I used to think I was the stuff, right?
He did. He really did.
Really hot-headed.
Very.
But I met her.
Well, just dive right into it.
Yeah. So I met her. She was talking to one of my cousins. She was talking to one of my cousins. They was dating on and off. And we
use that term very loosely at 16, but you know.
We started to develop a brother-sister relationship. Started to get to know each other. And I noticed she was different from like other females that me and my cousin used to be around. I grew up in north side of Spartanburg.
We both did.
And it, you know, you get used to that certain type, man. And she was different. She was raised in the church. I wasn't. I mean, I think I usually just went to church on
Easter,
Father's Day, Easter,
Mother's Day,
and Christmas. I think that was pretty much it. And but she was raised in the church. She was teaching cheerleading at her church, and I know that she was really different from all the other chicks. And you know, we grew that bond together, that friendship. And her and my cousin ended up parting ways, and we kept our brother-sister relationship. And as we began to have more conversations and dive deeper, I started to gain feelings about her and for her. So I reached out to my cousin, was completely honest with her before I even asked her out. And I was like, how would you feel about if I did this? And he gave me the okay to do it. So, yeah, she's my wifey. We've been together for...
Hold on.
7 years.
Hold on. Skipping a lot of stuff.
I don't know the question.
I know. Just answer that one piece. You done went over the whole story.
Okay.
Okay, so let me go back and tell my side of the story. Cause
my fault, yeah.
What you did good. Because normally he likes to fabricate. You know how they do.
Really?
So I guess the next question was gonna be, what was your first thought when you seen me? But again, our story is different because like our first interaction was not like.
Our first interaction was a date.
For me and his cousin.
Yeah. She was going on a date with my cousin, and they rode with me in my 1977 Chevy Monte Color.
So hold on, wait. Let me set this up. Okay, hold on. Let me set this up. So at this time, I'm staying with my aunt over the summer. Girl, you and this nose is really Jesus. Stop pushing the table. Okay, so I told y'all this is real life. We're not editing none of this. So, we were supposed to go to a football game. Mind you, we're in high school, so back then football games was big. Even though it was like a fight. I don't know what we was thinking back then. Anyway, so we was going to a football game. So I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna go to the game. You're gonna come pick me up, ma'am. You about to get kicked out now. So I'm thinking, we're gonna Tori. You about to leave. Now stop it. We'll edit that part. Okay, so his cousin tells me that we're getting ready to go on this date. So I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna come pick me up, go to the football game, get some food, cool, whatever. Old school cars don't have like a back door, so he's like climbing through the car to get to the back seat or whatever. So then I look in the car and realize, okay, number one, he's not driving. Number two, it's somebody else still in the back seat with him. And then Terrence is driving. So I get in the car and I'm looking like.
Who was the other person?
Tevin.
Tevin?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So it was Tevin and the person in the back, and then he was driving. Right. So we go to the football game, and at first it was kind of weird. Without saying too much, he was very friendly. I guess is a nice way to put it. Shout out to you if you're watching, thank you. But yeah, he was extremely friendly to everybody, especially the opposite sex. So our date ended up being me, him, and his cousin. Not the person I was on a date with, but me, Terrence, and his cousin. Which was totally fine after a while because I had more fun with them than I probably would have had with him anyway. So we're sitting there watching the game or whatever and talking, and they're super goofy, so we're joking or whatever. And then after, I don't remember, like, we got into an argument or something after, or he disappeared. I don't know what happened, but me and Terrence just kind of stayed in touch or whatever. Like, it was to the point that, like you said, he was doing music. I had gotten close to his manager at the time, and we were good friends, even though he was like, what, 30-something then? Well, probably not then. He was like 20-something. But I kind of wanted to learn the ropes. Like, they didn't have money to do websites and all of that stuff. So that's kind of how I learned how to do all of that stuff. But we became friends. And for some reason, my mama trusted him. Like, him and his manager. Like, his manager would come pick me up from the house, and we would go help them with shows and do all types of stuff. So we just stayed in touch, even to the point that, like, I tried hooking up Terrence with a few of my friends.
You did?
I did. I ain't gonna call her name, but yeah. I remember sitting in his house in the studio with my homegirl, like, yeah, y'all should, y'all should talk. And he was like, she not my type. So,
I remember that.
I'll tell you who later. But yeah, I distinctly remember trying to hook him up with my friends. And even like some of my Facebook memories are like us talking about shows or whatever, and me referring to him as my brother, which is kind of weird now. But yeah. So my first impression when I met Terrence,
go ahead and say it. That's why you laughing, Tori.
You heard this story before?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, if we haven't mentioned, we have 3 kids.
I said that.
5-year-old named Grayson.
He's in school, praise the Lord.
He's in school. 3-year-old Victoria right here. And 8 weeks now. No, he'll be 8. Yeah, I don't know. He'll be 2 months on the 9th. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, 2 months old.
2 months old.
Okay.
Yes.
But yeah, so my first impression when I first seen Terrence was I was a bit confused because like after talking to him, I understand, like I get it, but like when I met Terrence, he had 2 watches on one arm and only one of them worked, and it was just like, what's the point? Like what y'all see now is not what I met.
It was fresh.
It was nobody's style. Like we grew up in the same neighborhood, went to the same school, wasn't nobody else doing
I was
it.
flossing.
Yeah, with dental floss. But yes, he was flossing. Yes, I was just a bit confused, but like I said, after getting to know him, I kind of understood. But yeah, I was like, who is this and why? It just didn't make sense to me. Yeah. So, what was your first, like, very, very first impression?
Did you put it in the
It had to be that day.
You put it in
Man,
It had to be.
I feel like that was our first time, like, seeing each other face to face. We had talked over the phone before, like, you know, back in the day, you do, like, me and him would be on the phone, me and his cousin would be on the phone, and him and his other cousin would be at the house, and they would, they used to do these characters or whatever. I ain't gonna go into detail, but they used to do these characters or whatever, and they used to have us cracking up, but that was like our first time seeing each other face to face, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was.
I mean, I thought you was decent looking. You was cute. I thought you was cute. First impressions. Nice. Polite. Nice smile. Yeah, that's because I really didn't like know you much, and so I could only tell by outward appearance, you know, if you know how you initially, you know, made me feel.
Okay, so seeing that, I guess our relationship kind of started differently, I guess is a good way to put it. Well, actually, let me go back. So we honestly, like, I knew after a while that I liked him, but of course I wasn't gonna say nothing. But we were together so much, like, that people just kind of started being like, I wonder, you know. And then we had one friend in particular who was also doing music, who pulled us aside after a show one day and was like, why y'all playing? Like, just, it's all right, just go ahead and do it. Shout out to you if you're watching. Yeah. He's helped us a lot. But yeah, so that's kind of like when we decided to be serious. And like he said, he talked to the friend. By then he was on to the next, and he could kill us. So yeah, so I guess like after that, another time I remember, well, I'll get into that in a minute. So after that, it was kind of like an adjustment period because, like I said, we had been calling each other brother and sister for a while. So on my end, nobody really cared. I mean, like, again, me and his cousin weren't serious. It was just like, hey, you know, whatever. But on his side, like, he had friends who knew of me and his cousin, or like, I don't know. But I distinctly remember, like, one of my cousins or something was in the hospital, and I was on the phone with him. Oh, wait, you there? No, we was on the phone, and something had happened to her. One of his homegirls was like, well, how could y'all, you know, start dating? And she was talking to your cousin or whatever. So what was that period like from us being best friends or brother and sister to, okay, like, now this is my girlfriend? By the way, that friend, she didn't stick around too long.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And sometimes it just, you know, you gotta move on and you outgrow people. But yeah, sometimes you just got to remove people from your life when you're in a different season or assignment. And I'm thankful for that season because that allowed for me and Kayla to grow closer together. And anybody who would have been a hindrance to it, I wasn't allowing that. So I knew she was special. I knew she was the one. And because I did a lot of running around in my teenage years, and I knew she was different. So that's when we officially became a couple. We started dating, or courting, like the old folks say. And you know, I opened up corridors, you know, holding hands, you know, pulling out the chair when we go out to eat. Did that for about the first week.
Right, that's all
for about the first week. But you know, But you know,
Whatever.
you know, I had little moments throughout. Still now that I still do it. But yeah, man, I knew she was the one. So.
All right, so tell them kind of your process behind the engagement. So basically how it happened, like I said, I grew up in church, and one thing that my church did every year was they called it the harvest ball, but really it was like a prom basically. So he proposed to me at prom, at the harvest ball. So what was your like thought process behind that?
Matter of fact, we'll show y'all a clip too of the proposal.
God.
We still got the video. But I knew it was time, and I didn't have much money. You know, I was recording songs out my studio, you know, making a little change here and there. But I knew that she was the one for me, and I didn't want to allow finances or anything to hinder us getting closer to marriage.
And mind you, I got engaged. He proposed when I was 19, so it wasn't like, you know, we had both been working our careers for years, and I was fresh out of high school, so you know.
Yeah. I knew she was the one again. So again, they have the harvest ball every year, and we was performing live there at this one. And P-Dub, Pretty Willie, he was actually the special guest artist, and I knew she was excited to see him. He was and still is one of her favorite entertainers, and so I just wanted the day to be just super special for her. So the plan was to after we get done with the last song, in which I changed some lyrics at the end in the song to basically stand for, you know, my love for her. And so after the song, I walked over to her real nice. You know, I had on my tuxedo. You know what I'm saying? And I guess she was surprised. You know, I got on one knee and asked her would she marry me. I mean, she was sitting at the table with her mom, her sister, you know, her family. And she took a while to say yes. I think it was like a 10-second pause. And I was nervous. You know, it was about 100 people there. And I just took this leap of faith. We young. I don't know what she may be thinking. Oh, he don't got no money. I'm not ready.
I hadn't stayed that long. I mean,
but yeah, it was. How long was we dating? Like
2 years.
2 years.
Love 2 years.
2 years, and so just took that leap. We didn't intend to get married 6 months to a year after the engagement. I think we initially planned for what, 3 years? 2-3 years to be engaged.
I don't even remember. God, it seemed like it was so long
something like
ago.
that. But I think we got married like a year after.
Not even a year. So
something like that.
Okay, so let me go back. So yeah, I was surprised, but at the same time, I kind of felt like something was coming just because like my so I distinctly remember going to my mama's house, because by the time we were dating, I had moved in with my aunt, because my aunt stayed like literally right around the corner from him. So for us to be closer, I moved in with my aunt, and I distinctly remember going back to my mama's house for a visit with him, and I was in my bedroom for something, and he went in my mama's room, and I heard him say something about a ring. That's all I heard.
You was at the door listening.
I was not. The door wasn't closed, but like y'all was in there talking, and I remember saying something about a ring. And I'm not. You just loud and country, and I can hear. So, so then I didn't think about it no more after that. But that night, so one of his artists at the time, I was sitting beside his brother, and Terrence had gave me a promise ring, like the first Christmas or something that we were together, that I wore on that finger. And I remember his brother being like, hey, take your ring off a little bit. And I was like,
really? Oh man.
I was like, what are you talking about? So I'm like, not because he's goofy, so I'm not paying no attention to him, but I'm sitting there playing with it like, well, should I really, like, I didn't know what to do. So of course I knew like the song that they were performing. So when they got to that part, I was like, singing it in my head, and I was like, wait, what? Like, it took me a minute to kind of figure out what was going on. obviously, well, I found out later that like the church that my home church is like 85 to 90% my family, and it's a huge church. So most of my family was already there, so it was a good job. Let me see this. Let me see this. No, don't do it. Let me see. Just let me hold it. Look at this. I don't know if y'all, it's not gonna focus. It ain't gonna focus. See, leave us alone. But yeah, so he did really good because he knew that because, you know, most of my family went to the church. Most of them was gonna be there anyway. So it wasn't like I was going into it thinking, you know, something weird. And then he's used to just kind of, Terrence has always been the type, even though when we first got together, he was super duper quiet. He fooled the crap out of me because, jeez. But I remember like a Christmas, I think the first Christmas or something, we was together. One of my cousins like literally putting a video camera in his face, like, what are your intentions? And he just like off rip went for it. So I knew, you know, although I could tell he was nervous, I knew that he was getting ready to perform. So I didn't really think nothing of it until his friend was like, hey, you might want to take care of it.
I gave it away.
But no, not really, because even then I was still like, why would I? Okay, whatever. I just didn't think about it. And then I was also distracted because, so like you said, he had dreads. And he went to, cover my baby booty. He went to go get a haircut for this particular event. And it didn't turn out too well.
And my quick story, my barber had showed me a new design and that he wanted to try. And so the design looked pretty cool. Looked like it was a fade on, you know, on the sides, a little fade on the sides, and then keeping the dreads up top and at the back. And I was like, go for it, man. I like it. So he was doing it.
Safe.
He was doing it. All I heard was I was half asleep. And I was like, I woke up like, hey, everything okay? I'm like, yeah, man, it looks good. It's looking good.
He lied.
So he ended up going higher than what he was supposed to with the fade on the side.
I mean, like, ladies,
so,
if you wear a wig, it was like your wig starting, like, for real.
So y'all know the popular hairstyle now with the hair going on the sides and then just having like the mohawk at the top.
He had that in 2012.
That's what I had, just dreads at the top of my head. To make it look right, we had to cut a lot off the sides.
A lot.
And no lie, I was mad at first, but then I got used to the style.
So when he came to pick me up, I was already kind of like, okay, that's what you want to do. Okay, whatever. So yeah, so I was distracted. I wasn't thinking about that. But yeah, that night was cool. I mean, like, even after that, we continued to go to the events, and it was cool because, like, that was like, hey, y'all remember, you know, everybody would always come up to us, like, you remember when y'all got engaged? As if we wouldn't remember, but it was cool. So yeah, after he proposed or whatever, P-Dub came, and it's funny because we met him a few times at this point, but, he shouted us out or whatever, and then we met him again at like an industry event. What was we at?
In Atlanta?
The Dub? No, we was in Tennessee.
Award show.
Tennessee.
But we met him again.
Oh yeah, we did meet him again in Atlanta.
It was an award show. We was nominated for some award up there, and we seen him again with his family.
And we were just like, you know, we didn't want to, or at least I didn't want to fan out. He's in the industry, so, you know, whatever.
Well, he remembered us.
Yeah, he remembered us. He was like, oh, y'all are, and we was like, oh, okay. So that was cool. But yeah, so, like I said, it's been 8 years. So we got engaged November 2012. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, 2012. We actually got married in August of 2013, so it'll be 8 years this year. So what has been, I guess, the difference between, or like, is it what you thought it would be 8 years later?
I mean,
I don't think we had
I guess
an idea.
it changes. Marriage changes. So the expectations going in, like you want every minute, every second to be, you know, blissful and happiness to the T and joyful. But honestly, there's challenges and there's days when you have to make the intentional decision to love through the love pass. Anything, love past your emotions, anything. And so I went in with an open mind, not without thinking every day would be great. Went in with an open mind, knowing that hey, we young, we're gonna change, and we gotta learn how to relearn each other and relove each other throughout the process of us being together. There's been ups and downs, but we always fought through it. They say do not go to sleep mad. There's plenty of nights. We done both went to sleep mad.
Not there.
Like
I see you in the morning.
You trying to stay mad? That's so. But yeah, man, it's so. But I really love her. I hope she loves me. And I just knew that we would have to work at our marriage daily, and it takes, humbleness. It takes transparency. It takes, being able to willingly submit to each other, not one that dominates submission, but each are,
that's a word right
equally
there.
submitted. And I love this thing called life that we do together. Know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, it's been I don't know. I can't necessarily say that I had expectations going in. I mean, obviously we both we knew divorce and all of this stuff was off the table because both of our parents, like my mom got remarried when I was 7. Did your parents ever get married? Yes.
Yeah, it was married.
So his parents are divorced, and neither one of them ever remarried. So we have family members who, they're married but not really, you know what I mean? So we went in, I think, with more of an idea of what we didn't want. So the fact that we kind of had a blueprint, and it's funny now because some of the stuff we said we wanted that we are seeing happening, we was like, God, we was just playing about that part. I don't think we was too serious. After we had our first son, whoop-de-doo, let's have another one. Then she came along and was like, okay, Lord, I know we said 4, but nobody told us it was gonna be like this. So some of the stuff that we said that we wanted that's actually happening is great, and then other things were just like, well, might have to go back to the Lord on some of this stuff. But it's been good. Like you said, it's been a learning experience. We have literally done, or especially me, I guess, all of our firsts just about together. So when I graduated high school, he was there. When I went to prom, he was there. All of our kids are together. No baby mamas, praise the Lord. No baby daddies, none of that. So all of those big milestones. We bought our first house together. We bought our first bought our first car together because his family was giving out cars like it was candy. Okay. Bought our first car together. We had our first apartment together. So all of that stuff was a first for both of us. So it's definitely been a learning experience, having to learn him not only as he grows just as Terrence, but also as his career has changed. Him having no kids to having 1 to having 2 to having 3. It's different at every stage. So understanding that we, it's a constant learning experience. So it's been good. Any ideas on how we're gonna celebrate 8 years?
It's a surprise.
In other words, he has no idea.
It's a surprise. You can't let him know right now.
He don't know. So. Anyway, it's February, so he got time until August.
Valentine's Day right around the corner.
It is. What, 2 weeks? What's today?
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
Yeah, about 2 weeks away.
So I'm expecting something really nice. Really, really, really nice.
Anywho, I already got my gift, so it's all good. But yeah, so we don't want to keep y'all forever, even though I'm pretty sure we could still talk. But we'll separate some other topics or whatever into some upcoming podcasts.
Right. It's a lot of stuff that we can dive to, especially first time home buyers and business and the different stages and steps and trials we had to overcome with credit which is really big. I'm gonna just throw a seed out there.
Ooh, them cars.
We done had a voluntary repossession on our credit.
A few.
We done
I
had
think a few.
several loans that went in default. We done
A few.
had a credit
Evictions
score that
or
was
two.
a credit score that was 384.
Yeah. All of that.
Yeah, I said it. 384.
All of that.
384.
All that. And how old are you? Or how old are you?
29.
Yeah, and I'm 27. We did a lot.
We truly tried to live up to the Joneses. Early in our lifestyle.
Yeah, don't.
Rented a $1,250 house. Rented a $1,250 house.
We were driving a Range Rover at the time.
Driving a Range Rover.
Was we? Yeah, we were driving a Range Rover. Yeah.
We wanted that perception as we had it at a young age.
We did not.
Right. And we did not.
We was barely paying our phone bill.
And it really hurt us, but it taught us so many life lessons that we're going to share with you all in future podcasts. And we're thankful for that wisdom and knowledge that we gained, right?
Even though it hurt.
Right. We was
during
able to
that
rebound.
Whew.
You know, we was able to rebound, purchase our home 2 years ago. And you know, nice, great cars for the family that's dependable. You know, company vehicles. And so,
but don't tell them too much. We're going to get there.
Yeah, it's just know if it seems like you're at your lowest point that God can always turn it around. He can always use things around you that you can leverage for growth. And so we look forward to the future podcast to share that with y'all.
All right, guys. So be sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. Like I said, we'll be doing podcasts every week. The goal is to have a podcast every Thursday. So our topics will vary. Like you said, we'll talk about marriage, we'll talk about money, we'll talk about relationships. We'll do a little bit of everything. Parenting, business, we'll do a little bit of everything. So yeah, y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Oh, so you can either just listen to the podcast or you can actually watch us as we record and see the foolishness that my daughter is doing on my husband's app. However you decide to listen. So yeah, make sure y'all subscribe and we will see you guys next week.
All right.
All right, y'all. Go tell them bye. Look, say bye-bye.
Bye.